Hi guys, right, so we're talking about the anchor. And basically what that is, it's the point of reference you use upon which all the rest of the aiming systems come into alignment. And it's the point where you bring the string back to your of the board to your face and then align everything else up in relation to that point. Now don't forget, we're talking about basically visually impaired archers doing target shooting. So the basic target shooting anchor is there. You're bringing the string back to the point of your nose and your hand to the side of your cheek or the side of your mouth and lining it up. Now why is it important? Well, basically because that is the point of reference for everything else. When you're lining the bow up, and even if you're using a tactile sight, which we'll talk about later on in another video, you still have to have a good anchor point, a good consistent anchor upon which to line everything else up. So whether you're using an optical sight, a tactile sight, doesn't matter. You need to have that anchor point consistent each and every time. Now there is a little bit of leeway, but not much. Now it's one of those things where if you have a slight inconsistency at this point, the inconsistency will be magnified further down range. There are lots of other ways of anchoring depending on the style of bow you're using, but for this, for target archery, you're going to bring it back and basically line it up down so that the string is touching the center of your nose. Now some people will bring it to the chin, some people will bring it to the side of the nose, some people to the point of the nose. Depends on what you can see and how far you can see and how well you can see in terms of visual impairment. If you can't see at all, you've just got to pick a point and become tactile. Now you can actually get things which you can add to the string, known as a kisser. And basically what that does, it gives you a fixed point with which to line up. And as you bring it back, you'll bring it back to touch your lips. That's why it's called a kisser. So you know each time that you're in exactly the same alignment every time. Same height up and down, same position left to right, and just makes things easy. You don't see them as often anymore in competition, but that could be a useful thing to think about for the visually impaired. Now the way I anchor is with my thumb. I bring the string back to the center of my nose, but then I put the thumb underneath the chin, just in the line of the jaw. Whoops, dropped an arrow. Now there's the thing, if you're on the shooting line and you drop an arrow and it goes forward of the shooting line, do not pick it up if you're at a club shoot or something like that, because you'll instantly get shouted and screamed at and people won't be happy. Right, so getting back to the anchor, so I'm going to bring it back so the string touches my nose, yeah, and then underneath my jaw, and then my thumb stays there. When I loose, my thumb generally stays there. I don't do any of this. I use a static release rather than a dynamic release, but my thumb is in the same place each time. And there's actually just a little tiny ridge there which I can feel, and that's where my hand goes each time. Right, so one more. Make sure it's knocked properly. So I'm addressing the target, making sure I'm lined up, drawing back, string touches the nose, thumb under the jaw, and loose. Right, there's your basic anchor point. It's important, you need to get it right, it needs to be practiced. This is why you're best off with a lightweight bow to start with, guys, so you can actually come to full draw and actually experience it and feel it, see what it feels like to have that anchor point that's comfortable. If you go too heavy with the weighted bow, you're going to have problems. You're going to breed in training errors. Right, anyway, there you go. So that's the next fundamental, which I think is number 5. Anyway, right, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it useful. We'll talk again soon. Cheers, guys.